Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to possibly the shortest champion review. We're about to...
I don't know, you say that
we've
now,
done
but, like, we've had some short ones, yeah.
I don't know. So we have Karthus, Amumu, and...
Cho'Gath.
Surprise, surprise, those two champions didn't have anything. So yeah, we're going to do... Cho'Gath would be next in line, and more surprises, he hasn't changed that much.
He had one ability change.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we could end up like talking for like 4 hours, probably just watch. But nah, I don't think. I think it's gonna be a short one.
I think so too.
That's okay. You know, it's Friday. It's Friday, baby, and yeah. So last week we had asked you guys if you had previously played the pre-reworked Evelyn, and 43% said yes, and 57% said no.
Yeah.
So I know a few of you guys started. First of all, when did Evelyn get? Did we figure that out? Was it like 2018? It had to be 2018.
I think so. Sounds about right.
Because KDA.
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
about right.
Sure. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
The only other thing I wanted to mention before we get into this is Riot had already just posted a new teaser for the next champion, which is the melee ADC, quote unquote ADC role champion.
Oh yeah. I saw that little teaser. I was unaware of what that teaser actually was when I first saw it, not realizing it was a champion, but it did say more information tomorrow, right?
I think so. I saw that and I'm like, does that like do they literally mean tomorrow, or do they
I don't know.
mean like...
I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, are they talking to me, or are they talking like as the character?
So I know a lot of people are gonna be like, wait, Bel'Veth just came out. Well, apparently Bel'Veth was supposed to come out a while ago. She got delayed.
Yep.
Same reason as Udyr. Udyr is getting like
Udyr.
super delayed. I have no idea what that dude is. Yeah.
Yeah, good old Dutter.
I'm really waiting for that Udyr, dude.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like
It's
everybody's
taking
been
4
waiting
years
for
on
that. So.
guy. So yeah, so new champions coming out. It maybe by the time you guys are listening to this, there'll be more information, more trailer, another cinematic maybe. You know what? There was a YouTube video that someone posted of a leaked. We don't need to go over it right now, but apparently her abilities got leaked.
Oh.
And so that's something maybe we can talk about like next week. That is, unless they like post all of her abilities already, but I don't know. We'll see. So get hyped for that.
Yeah.
And all right, we'll go into it. So we're gonna, guys, again, this is gonna be a really short episode, so hang in there. Karthus. Okay.
Karthus.
I think the biggest change is what you said is just a VGU, like just visuals.
That was for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Looking at his, I'm looking at his old splash art, and then Chinese one. Chinese one looks wild.
Yeah, it does. He's got a very Chinese style robe on too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, guys. So
Karthus,
all his abilities are the same.
Yeah. What does he do? Well, if anybody remembers his original M&Ms or Skittles, whatever people call them, they changed that back in 2015, I think, when they updated him. His lay waste now makes a lot more sense when you put it down. It's much easier to see as an enemy as opposed to the old fucking Skittles that they had. But it's the same ability. You drop a little Q, and if you hit a single target with it, you do double damage. If you don't hit a single target with it, you do regular damage, which isn't a whole lot. So it's important to hit single targets with that thing. Other than that, it is a skill you can use as passive. I did intentionally skip his passive because I want to circle back to it.
Right.
Because that's like one of the most important parts of this champion, right? Is the passive. Lay waste also only deals 95% damage to jungle monsters, so that is something to keep in mind, and that's just to slow his clear because most of the jungle monsters are single target with blue buff, red buff, and Gromp. And even Krugs, you can kite for a single target. You're probably not gonna. You might be able to kite wolves for single target, but you're definitely not gonna do it with chickens. So they had to bring him down just a little bit to slow
Well,
his
to be
clear.
fair, it used to be worse.
Yes, it did.
It recently got buffed.
It did. They just know if they put it at 100%, he's gonna have an insanely fast clear for next to no mana, which he shouldn't. He should be easy to gank early and then win late, or at least mid game. So, let's see. It does take about a quarter second to go off from when you place it, but it is on a 1 second cooldown. So this is like this champion doesn't auto attack.
No.
He queues. He queues. And then his W, the old Wall of Pain, looks much better now than it used to as well. Just like the Skittles look better now. The nice thing about this ability is it actually does grant sight.
That's that's for sure the most important thing.
Yes.
You should know about this ability. So you just throw it in a bush and boom, you got vision.
And then if you can get it over somebody, it is a slow, but that's not important. What's important is the 15% reduced magic resistance. So if you can get it on somebody and then maybe cast an ulti or get on somebody and land a bunch of Qs, you're going to really be pummeling them. Because if they have no MR, it's probably not doing a whole lot, but even tanks, I mean, because it's a percentage reduction, it's basically free penetration built into his kit. The slow is 40 to 80%, and as you level it up, the wall does get bigger. So that's also something to note. But other than that, you're just using it for sight, really. That's like the biggest part, like Dean said. Let's see here. Oh, you have his E, Defile. So this does have a nice passive on it. Karthus restores mana whenever he kills an enemy. So that's a monster, a minion, a champion, an epic monster. It's not a ton of mana. As you level it up, it's 15 to 55, but it's important when you're clearing the jungle because you need that mana. This skill is a toggle skill, so as it's toggled, it costs 30 to 78 mana per second. So if you kill something, you're gonna recover most of your mana, but not all of it. That's in the ballpark range of about 75%, as it scales up. So it is important to try to kill things while you have it, or while you're using it, to conserve some mana. It does tick every quarter second, so that is also important to know that you are getting your damage tick quite often. The tick isn't very big. It's 7.5 to 27.5 with a 5% AP ratio. So you're just using it to help increase your damage, really, is the whole point of that thing.
I've learned, in particular, because I was playing him jungle for a little bit, you don't want to just sit with this thing on.
No.
You actually want to toggle it on, wait a second, then off, on, off, because it ticks every quarter second, right?
Yep.
So you want to like toggle it for a second and then toggle off, because it also says toggling Defile off triggers a final tick of damage. So you get,
Yes.
it's free. Yeah. So you don't want to just sit there in the jungle and just, hold your E on, because that your mana goes bye-bye.
Yes, it does.
That way you can also, you can weave in auto attacks. You can, but like it's not going to make that big of a difference.
Right.
But yeah, again, it's
So
I didn't realize it did that minimal amount. It doesn't really do that much damage.
No, that's why people often build like Landry's on him, to help just continuously apply that burn tick. And once you pair it with Landry's, then it's like, oh my god, it's just burning forever. The other thing to note is that this ability does reevaluate its damage tick every time. So if you gain or lose AP within that amount of time, it will actually change your damage output. The other thing to note is that it automatically turns off if you enter Resurrection. And it is unable to be turned off once you hit your passive, which is called Death Defied. When Karthus takes fatal damage, he enters a zombie state for 7 seconds, during which he can cast his abilities at no cost. If Defile has been learned, it will remain toggled on for Death Defied's entire duration. Requiem becomes disabled after Death Defied has lasted 4 seconds. That's because it takes too long to cast otherwise. While in this state, Karthus is untargetable and immune to CC. It does not take damage. Is also rendered unable to move. Can't basic attack, can't use summoner spells, and can't activate items. He also has a nice little quote stolen from uh, is it Henry J. Oppenheimer? I know it's
Oh
Oppenheimer.
yeah, become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Yeah, just I am become death, and yes, you did, Karthus. You are dead, and now you're trying to kill everybody with your powerful ultimate, which Dean needs to tell us about because that's his favorite ability.
Right. Well, I mean, it's any global abilities are just fucking sick. I
Yeah.
mean, to be fair, look at this fucking cooldown. Okay, 200 seconds at first rank.
And it
That
only
is
scales down to 2 minutes too. That's
now.
insane.
Tell me, is that the longest base cooldown? What's Shen's? I'd have to look up what Shen's base cooldown is because 200 seconds might be the
I
longest.
think 200 seconds is longer than Shen. I think Shen's only 150.
200 seconds. That's like 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm doing the math right. Yeah, yeah. That's fucking nuts. I mean, if you even if you stack that much ability haste, I don't even think
I don't,
it will get down that much. But I mean, you can also go Ultimate Hunter, which is like a must on this dude.
right. Shen confirmed is 200 to 160. So you were right.
So it's the same.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And what's
I mean,
what's
these are
Soraka's?
Soraka probably a good one to look up.
Because that's like
I mean,
that's like a direct counter to this ability, right?
yeah, I think the most important thing is do not use this ability unless you're safe or you're in passive.
Right. Very
Because
important.
obviously, if you get hard CC'd, it cancels the whole fucking thing.
The Soraka is 160 base.
Wow, that's still fucking high.
It's very high, but it's also OPAF early, so. But yeah, 3 seconds deals massive amount of magic damage, 75% AP, and yell die as you cast it. It is cool because it does work on clones. It does also work on untargetables, so that is something to also note. Your fizzes who are trying to troll pole, sorry sir, you're gonna get hit by that thing. Let's see. It also does apply spell effects, obviously. So your Leandries, it makes it pretty dangerous because if it doesn't kill you, it very well might burn you to death.
It's also really good. The reason, I mean, you can go Dark Harvest. First Strike is very good because you literally, I mean, sure, the cooldown's long,
Right.
but you can literally just ult to get if you have a Leandries at least, you're gonna get a shitload of gold
Yeah.
just off that ulti.
Yeah. This is true.
Right. So keep that in mind.
Other than that, he doesn't have any old abilities, but he's got some really nasty old icons for his abilities. Like
Oh yeah, let's take a look.
Death Defied is just a sheep that's crossed out. Like I don't understand that one, but someone got really fucking lazy, and then they changed it, made it look more similar to what it is now. Lay Waste has like a ghoul coming out of a body, which is more of a Yorick thing than it would have been a Karthus thing at the time.
Yeah.
All right, Riot. Maybe that was like a slight Easter egg to point towards Yorick because I guess they do both come from the Shadow Isles. Wall of Pain just looks weird. Defile is I don't even understand what that is. And Requiem looks like Shining Finger from Gundam G.
I think that's about it. I think the last thing I'm just mentioned is what's the best Karthus skin?
Oh, ooh. Okay, so obviously Pentakill's up there, but like that's too cliche for me. I don't like, you know me, I don't like cliche skins. I'm a fan of Statue of Karthus.
Right.
I also I do like Phantom Karthus. I think that one's just super cool. I like obviously the original. A lot of these early champions have like their original base skin and then like a slightly different color version of the same skin. And that's what Phantom started off as, but they've gone back and actually changed it, given him like some pink eyes that look pretty cool, and his staff is definitely different. I don't necessarily care for Pentakill Lost Chapter Karthus. I will say that. That one's kind of okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Um, yeah, I gotta say
I like
Statue of
Grim.
Karthus, but Grim's cool too.
Grim Reaper is cool. It just, yeah, for sure, probably Statue is the best one, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
And I like the original Statue of Karthus artwork better than the new one, because the new one's just him destroying stuff. But like the original one had like the fireworks behind him and stuff. I just thought it looked cooler. And
All right.
that's it for Karthus.
Yep, and we're gonna hop into Amumu right after this break. All right, guys, welcome back. We are
Yep,
moving on to Amumu,
sure
and yep, guys, that was Amumu.
are. So really, I think the biggest change that's happened over the year, and I say that year, um, really, but over the years, is his bandage toss. Now that he can store a charge of bandage toss.
Yep.
Um, so they recharge at a scaling rate, but it's not like it's much. It's 16 to 14 depending on the ability. Um, but the static cooldown between how often you can use them if you have both charged is 3 seconds. You can only charge two at a time. Um, I did not realize that the toss is actually a stun, not a root. I guess I always thought it was a root.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so that is good to know. It is a stun, which makes it good to use on champions like Katarina, for example. Um, so that is good to know. Obviously, we know he flies in, and then because of his passive, the Cursed Touch, he starts actually applying 10% bonus true damage from all incoming pre-mitigation magic damage. And as that, let's see, Amumu's basic attacks and Curse of the Sad Mummy mark enemies with Curse for 3 seconds, refreshing on subsequent applications and Despair. Oh, I guess that does not curse him. So you go in, you have to actually auto attack
Right.
to deal a curse, or use your W, because that does apply
So I was
curse.
trying to look up when, because I remember his passive was not what it's not always been that. Prior, this was changed in season
Right.
7, 7.7. His old passive used to just be basic attacks, reduce target's magic resist by 15, 20, 25 for 3 seconds. Then
Okay.
it got changed to obviously curse take 15% bonus true damage from all incoming magic damage. That, like, comparing those two, it's so much. It just sounds way more OP.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It it's I think it's a lot grosser now, and like he is the prime example of champions you should be using Abyssal Mask on. Like you're dealing 10% bonus true damage from your pre-mitigation magic damage, but you should also be increasing your magic damage that you're using, right?
yep.
So because he does, I mean that's what he does, magic damage. You throw an Abyssal Mask and you just get in there, and it's like free magic pen basically for everybody, not just him.
I just remember when they came out with mythic items that fucking Sunfire Demonic was so
Oh,
disgusting with
yeah.
matched with his W, which of course
Until it changed demonic to actually only activate on abilities now.
it's. I think though tanks, if you can run, if you're a magic dealing tank, I think running like Sunfire or Gauntlet and then straight into Demonic is really OP.
Yes.
So, guy, and I know
Yes.
Mumu's getting changed this next patch, right? We don't know what's happening to him because we're guessing, but
Yes.
coming down there, Jordan. Uh, he might be OP again. He might honestly be OP again.
Oh, something to note on the bandage toss, by the way, forgot. Um, Amumu will always follow the dash if he lands it, even if you stun him or whatever, you mobilize him, he will still follow the dash all the way through. And it also still stuns even on death. So if he dies after he's landed the toss, you still get stunned.
Yeah,
So that is something to be aware
yeah.
of.
Scuff Spider Man just coming at you, dude. He's gonna get you.
Yes, and also if it attaches like while you're flashing, he will move with you, or while you're like if it's Ezreal and he E's, if it attaches just before the E goes, he will actually follow you. He does not have a set range to go. He will follow the champion all the way. So that is something to note because that also works against like a Tristana as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Blitzcrank one does not work that way for Tristana. The bandage toss will work like that. So I think it's good to have that distinction in there so that everybody is aware of exactly what you can or can't do to get out of this thing. Um, Obviously, Despair, his W is just him crying the whole time.
Little bitch.
He runs in, he cries at you, and he sniffs. He actually does make like a crying sound when he uses it too. Like it's very, very subtle, but if you listen, you can actually hear him whining and like kind of sniffling. Um, It's weird. It does say in the details that despite the rounding in Despair's tooltip, where it's supposed to be a 0.25%
Per 100.
extra, yeah, per 100 AP, it does say despite the rounding, it will deal increased magic damage for every point of ability power. So the tooltip is wrong, and Riot doesn't give a shit to fix it, I guess.
Hell no.
Hell to the nah. um, and it is AoE damage. It does tick every half second, so it is not as frequent as Karthus. And it costs a fuck ton of mana for Amumu because he's got a shit tier mana pool. 8 mana per second, so it's pretty gross. This is a prime champion to be building Fimbulwinter on. Because of this reason, and because he's got 2 stuns. You talked about his passive. You want to go over his, or you talked about his old passive. Do you want to go over his tantrum?
Yeah, which is basically. Well, I guess it's the opposite. I mean, he just takes reduced damage, physical damage, reduced post mitigation damage from every instance of physical damage, but it does scale with both armor and magic resist. Bonus.
And it's capped at 50% of the damage. Did not know it was capped.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it got up to 100%, that wouldn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, you gotta go because it's a flat damage reduction, right? So 5 to 13 plus 3% bonus armor and 3% bonus MR. But I feel like this champion builds more health than he does resistances because he needs the health. The resistances don't really help him that much, actually. He needs the health, and he kind of is like he almost builds AP Bruiser-ish, if that makes sense. Like, not quite. I mean, obviously he can flex more to tank or more towards Bruiser, depending on the enemy team comp. But, yeah, I mean, he has generous AP ratios. Like, it makes you want to go that route if you can, you know?
Telling you, man, just Sunfire item into Demonic,
Demonic.
it's, like, perfect.
Yes.
I think the only other, like... I mean, is Frozen Heart the only armor item? Or I guess, no, Thornmail gives HP. Is Frozen Heart the only, like, tank item that doesn't give health?
I think so.
As well as, it's just straight armor and mana. CDR, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think back. Yeah, because everything else is not a tank item. Banshee's Veil is not a tank item. Even if it is slightly defensive, it's not a tank item. I think you're right.
So
I think you're right.
Could you imagine if Frozen Heart gave HP? I think it would just...
No, that item would be OP AF.
Well, because Randuin's... Because
Randuin's gives it
Frozen
to you.
Heart...
Randuin's has...
Frozen Heart has the Warden's Mail passive, right? Where it takes a little bit of damage reduction. So it's the same thing as Randuin's. Randuin...
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking at this shit now. Obviously...
Depending on your build, you could optimize for mana with Frozen Heart and Fimbulwinter, or you can optimize for damage, I think, with Randuin's for the slow active by popping the slow and then just being able to continually apply your curse.
Well, I was gonna
say they're just not able to run away.
If you build Fimbulwinter, do you need to build Randuin's because you're getting the slow from Fimbulwinter?
Oh, that's right. Fimbulwinter does have that slow.
Right, when they CC or slow, like, right? Is that how it works? Wait, no.
I think so.
Am I drunk? No, you get a shield for Fimbulwinter. I'm fucking get my items confused.
Oh, you know what? You're confusing that with Rylai's.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. My bad.
No, that's my bad. I mean, I'm looking at. So Frozen Heart's cheaper. Gives less armor, more magic or ability haste, 400 mana. 400 mana is probably like the most appealing shit to this for as far as like base. And then of course, lowers attack speed.
Still 20%.
20%, 700 range. I did not know it was 700 range. So it's decent. That's pretty decent. If you're sitting in the middle of everybody,
it's decent.
Yeah.
Put it this way, Caitlyn can't auto attack you without losing attack range or attack speed.
And then the basic attack. So I mean, I guess both these items are good because it kind of pairs nicely with his E passive, where Randuin's and Frozen Heart, you're taking reduced basic attack damage.
Yes.
Let's see, reduced by 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't build both. I would build one or the other. And opt in for Abyss Hole Mask. I mean, unless they're all AD. If they're all AD, well, even if they're all AD, I would just build a Thornmail instead. I wouldn't build both. I don't think.
No. Oh man, Thornmail only gives 60 armor.
Yeah, they had to bring it down, and that item still sucks
Well, they
because
did
you
buff
can't.
the thorns damage
Yeah, they could just also buff
armor, the base armor, or the grievous wounds.
the
All
grievous
of the
wounds. That's where
above.
I was going with that. They could just not necessarily the armor, but the grievous wounds. I think is what they really could stand to buff on it because like you have to either CC or be able to. You have to be CC'd or be able to CC
Oh
somebody in order to
yeah,
get
that.
full grievous, and that's so fucking bad.
I mean,
So
it's
bad.
not bad on Amumu because he obviously has hard CC, but there
Right.
are champions that don't have hard CC that want it. Like the only thing that comes, the first one that comes to mind is like Nasus. I would feel a
Right.
little
He
weird
wants Thornmail.
building Chainsword on him. Cause I'm like, nah, dude, give me Thornmail where I'm fucking gonna walk through motherfuckers and they're gonna be hitting me. Cause it's
Yeah.
for sure the worst of the Grievous Wound, like the legendary items with Grievous Wounds. It's definitely the worst.
Oh, for sure. It's not even close.
They should change it to
Um,
slows.
the other thing I wanted to mention too is Thornmail does do magic damage, so you do get Amumu's passive attached to it. It's only 10% of not a whole lot. Like, don't get me wrong, but true damage is true damage. It's unmitigatable, and it's based on the pre-mitigation magic damage that you're dealing. So I do think that is something worth noting if you're going into an auto-attacking team. Now, if you're going to a team that's not auto-attacking like that, then it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad. There's not a whole lot else to talk about Amumu. Oh, we didn't mention that his E is the cooldown's reduced by
Basic attacks.
basic attacks. That when he's hit by basic
Yep.
attacks. Um, and then we didn't talk about his ulti, but I think we all know what Curse of the Sad Mummy does. You Q in, you press R, and anybody who's in the air gets knocked down. So that's you, Tristana. You don't get to leave if he hits R and you're in that range. You get immediately brought down to the ground and stunned. That ability is the whole reason you play this champion. That and bandage toss, but like that's the combo, right? Bandage toss, ulti. Bandage toss, W, ulti, and then you E while they're sitting there as a sitting duck, and hopefully your team can blow somebody up because Amumu's probably not gonna do it on his own.
No, he can't. Unless if you're going like full AP, you're gonna one shot people, but you're not. You shouldn't be going full AP.
Right. All right. What's your best Amumu
Oh, there's
skin?
actually so many good ones.
He has a
It's
lot of
got to
good ones.
be Emumu is really fucking good, or Sad Present, or
Emu is great.
regifted. Excuse me, regifted.
Oh yeah,
Man, almost
regifted. Yeah,
Prom King. There's so many.
almost. I like almost Prom King a lot. I was like Sad Robot.
Yeah,
Infernal's not bad either. Infernal, he looks like Kennen in Infernal, but it's cool because he's got chains instead of bandages, and I like that. I don't know about Porcelain. He's basically just Chip from Beauty and the Beast, so that one's kind of weird.
I had no idea he had a Hex Tech skin.
I think I knew that, but no one ever uses it, so it doesn't matter. Surprise Party's pretty good too.
Right.
But yeah, guys, that's. I mean, unless you had anything else you want to
No,
go over with the movie, that's
that's it
him.
for our boy, the Sad Mummy. So finally,
Oh, I didn't realize that in Surprise Party he carries around a Timo balloon. That's
that's actually pretty
great.
cool.
Oh, and it changes based on the chroma. He carries on different Yordles. Let's see. He carries around Lulu. He carries around a Poro. He's got Ziggs, little Devil Timo. I don't know what that is in the Pearl one. Looks like a wolf. I don't know. I'm not understanding that one. There's Nar in Rainbow. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's Snow Day Nar. In Ruby, that looks like Tibbers, and in Sapphire, it looks like Fizz. That's cool.
Alrighty. So finally, Cho'Gath.
Yep.
Gathy. The only change that they've had, which is weird because I feel like this is like I don't know why this is like in a past version. I feel like this could change because like for Amumu when he got added, this is like very similar. This feels similar
Right.
to how like oh Amumu got an extra bandage toss or something
Bandage toss. Right. Right.
because it used to be a toggle and now it's not. It's 3 auto attacks now. I mean, let me look at the damage wise. It must have been buffed in damage.
Oh, it's definitely buffed in damage because it's has to do.
It's HP, right?
So, Jesus Christ. The base damage is higher early but nerfed late. The same AP scale, but you get plus 3% plus a 0.5% per feast stack of the target's max health. So if you have 10 feast stacks, you're getting an extra 5%, so you're getting 8% of the target's max health. And then also they added a slow, whereas in the past it did not slow, it just did damage and applied spell effects.
So it's much
So
better. I mean, this is pretty sure you're still going to be maxing this first, especially if if you're going against a tank, this is like a no-brainer.
right, right. I didn't realize that was a auto attack reset too.
Yeah, it's nice. Always fucking
Um,
nice.
right, right. And then of course he gains range on it, and that slow is actually pretty gross. Um, and then obviously the damage is capped against minions and monsters, because that would be pretty fucking gross as well. One of the things to note about Cho'Gath, he is one of the only champions left with a silence,
All right. Not too
and
many.
he can actually silence Rift Scuttler.
So does that break the shield?
It's a great question. Let's find out. If I click on Rift Scuttler, gameplay, let's see. Several unique interactions with crowd control. She gains 100% slow resist while not fleeing. She has negative 100% tenacity. Crowd control effects that are affected by tenacity last twice as long. Her dash can be knocked down, and she won't commence it while rooted or grounded.
Ah,
And
it
the
does.
following crowd control effects and smite remove it. Yeah, I did not realize that silence actually worked on
I
that.
had
I
no
would
idea.
probably have done that before.
That's actually big. Like if you have a Soraka on your team too, you can just walk over and be like, "Boom,
Yes, drop
shield's
the
gone,
E.
baby."
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
pretty gross. So that's good to know. Did not know that was a thing.
Cho'Gath is like Cho'Gath is king, one of the fucking best like lane sustain champions because obviously
Because of his
passive,
passive.
he restores health and mana.
Yep.
That's fucking great. It's not that much mana at first, but I mean, there's some like AP champions where you want to like start with like a Doran's ring, but this is
Right.
like, oh, I don't really feel as bad going fucking Doran's shield. 18 health, like level 1 is a lot. I feel like that's a lot per
Uh,
minion.
it's okay. Yeah. Well, any enemy really. So a minion, monster, champion. Um, the thing I was gonna say, I just wanted to touch on the mana bit, is that it's a lot of mana, even though it doesn't seem like a whole lot. 3.5 to 7.75 based on level. But Cho'Gath does not have high mana costs. His Rupture, which is arguably one of his best abilities, is only 60 mana. His Silence scales up to 110 mana at max rank, but you're not maxing that.
Mm-mm.
That's your last max skill, so that's not really a big deal. And the Vorpal Spikes only cost 30 mana, so like really your bread and butter skills, you're talking 90 mana per activation.
Yeah.
And then the ulti's only 100.
Note on the Vorpal Spikes, it's 30 mana for one cast, and then you have 3 attacks.
Yes.
So
What is his mana pool? 270 to 1290. So yeah, at a 270, he's got a rather low mana pool. So to get 3.5 mana back per killed enemy, that's not bad.
yeah, I mean, as long as you're
That's
as long as
one.
you're
That's
last
that's about
hitting,
1%.
you're good. You're good to
Yeah,
go.
that's a little more than 1% of your actual mana. But like, yeah, it's not hard to do on the first few waves until a freeze happens or whatever, and you're forced to kill them or leave or whatever. So again, I think it's important. I know it does say does not trigger upon wards, but it will trigger on killing a turret, but it does not trigger on inhibitors. Let's see. We talked about Feral Scream. We talked about Vorpal Spikes. Oh, we passed over Rupture. That's his knock-up. And, oh, I did not realize that it actually grants sight of the area as well.
Yeah, another same
I didn't
thing.
think
Yeah,
about that.
it's
That makes
nice to check
sense.
bushes with that.
And it's got a really nice 60% slow for a second and a half, too, after they come down from the knock-up. So you knock them up for a second, and they can't run for another second and a half.
Right.
They're only running at 40%. So that's pretty good, pretty huge. It's like a big uh, a big reason that this champion's still relevant. Also, if you cleanse the airborne, if you use cleanse, like if you're GP and you use your oranges while you're airborne, you still will be slowed. It will not prevent that slow, and the slow cannot be blocked by a spell shield. I think it's Sivir spell shield, but will always be prevented if the airborne was. So if you block the airborne, you won't get slowed. But If you get caught in the airborne and someone puts a spell shield on you, you're still slowed. And then his ulti. This is obviously his signature ability, allowing Cho'Gath to grow in size for each enemy he eats. I guess the best way, I'll just read it off to you guys, is Cho'Gath attempts to eat the target enemy, dealing them true damage. Well, he doesn't always kill them, right? He just bites them or he eats them. Against non-champions, the base damage is modified to 1,000, which makes him an excellent objective securing champion. Objective as in Dragon, Baron, or
if you have a
Rift.
Cho'Gath on your team, he doesn't obviously. I don't think he's been a. I'm sure you could jungle him, but no, I probably wouldn't do that. But like,
not right now.
Like,
yeah.
If you can coordinate with your jungler, Baron's at 1900. Just smite, and then just have him smite at 1900 health, and then Cho'Gath just eats the whole thing. And there's no way you should be losing monster objectives with a Cho'Gath on your team.
That's like losing with the new one.
So yeah, same thing. Like anything that does that much true damage, like yeah.
Right. The thing to note as well is that Cho'Gath can use this on minions, or non-epic monsters in the jungle, but he can only do that 6 times. After that, he no longer gains health per stack. But he can use it on Dragon, Baron, Rift Herald, as many times as he wants, or champions as many times as he wants to gain as many stacks as he likes. As you level it up, your bonuses level up as well.
That's a big one.
Very big one. Your bonus attack range per stack scales from 4.62 range to 7.69 range per stack at max rank. Your bonus size per stack scales at 6 to 10% at max rank. And your bonus health per stack scales at 80 to 160 per rank. So it is pretty gross. If you've ever seen a menacing ass Cho'Gath just walking down the lane,
12 stacks, fucking Frostfire Gauntlet, because that increases your size too. Elixir of Iron.
He's actually disgusting, and yeah.
Sometimes it almost is too much. You can't even fucking auto attack if you're that large. It
is actually almost too big. You're right.
It's hard to click on models because you're so big.
But I think his does his scream also scale in size?
I'm not sure about that one.
Maybe it doesn't.
Let me
maybe it doesn't.
I was looking for this. I went down to the patch history. Let me take you down memory lane. His ultimate never used to be infinite. Did we mention it was infinite? It's infinite.
Oh, it's infinite. We did not mention that.
Outside of, as long as you're killing anything but lane minions, jungle creeps after those 6 stacks. But season 7, okay, to be fair, I think even older, it didn't. I'd have to go back even further, but there's so many patch changes. But in season 7, and before that, you could only get 6 stacks. Do you remember this? Where you could only use your ult 6 times, or it would stack only to 6 times. If you use your ult after that, it would heal you when you use your ult.
I don't remember that.
So here, 7.4, this is when they changed it to how it is now. So prior, if you died, you'd lose stacks. You'd lose half your stacks on death.
Okay.
Once you're at max 6 stacks, you would heal. They got rid of that, obviously. Prior, champion kills granted 2 stacks. Doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, I do remember that.
Killing a minion or monster refunded 50% cooldown and mana cost.
I remember that as well.
That is when Cho'Gath was a jungler.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then what else did they have? The AP reduce. Yeah, AP ratio went reduced.
Well, remember when he was AP Cho'Gath in the mid lane and it was fucking disgusting because the W's 100%, the Q's 100% AP scale? Yeah, I remember that.
Does it alt say it reaches maximum size at 10 stacks?
Does it?
This is what it's saying here. Maybe they changed that.
It does not say. Let me hit the details if it says anything in here.
There we go. No, maybe not. Hold on. Damage.
The highest possible stack count used to be 255, and the buff name would equal the stacks. Feast X 255.
Okay.
So the name of the bonus health buff is Feast times 1. So that's what you used to see. But yeah, it used to be 255. There is no cap, so you
The
can.
size. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you just infinitely get larger.
Yeah. The bonus attack range. Oh no, just kidding. I lied. The bonus attack range and increased size cap,
Oh.
or an
Okay.
increased size cap it respectively. So 16.25 to 9.75 on the bonus attack range, and then 16.67 down to 10 stacks, with the last stack being effective as the decimal part of the value. What does that fucking mean? No decimal meaning 100% as effective. Okay.
Sure.
Sure, whatever the fuck that means. Oh, each stack of feast increases the damage by 8, 12, 16. Did I mention that? I don't think I did.
Um. Yeah. That's it.
Hmm.
I think it's
Yeah.
very easy to say what his best skin is. Yeah,
Quiet!
gentlemen,
That one?
gentlemen. I hope to God they never change that skin.
I just, I really love when he pops somebody up and goes, aha!
Up. He goes. Up you go.
Or up you go. That, I do like Jurassic Cho'Gath, but I just like the splash art. Although I do like that they keep the little bolts in his joints, kind of like you see at a museum. But that's definitely pulled right out of
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, with the little Cho'Gath rules, banner falling down, and the little Corky with no hat on running away. And then Darkstar is actually really good too. You can't forget about Darkstar. That's a really good skin. And Shanghai Scrolls is sick because they turned his face into a kabuki mask.
It is badass.
And Battlecast is cool too. Actually, honestly, he's got like a whole list of good skins. Nightmare is probably the worst one. I do like Loch Ness. Oh, what was I gonna hit? One of his his Chinese splash art was fucking sick. Although he looked kind of more like a sea creature. Fucking sick.
Whoa.
Super cool. Like way better than the original North America splash art that was fucking duty pants. That still reflected Nightmare Cho'Gath. I'm surprised I never actually updated the Nightmare Cho'Gath one.
Well, I think that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about these guys here.
No, you're right. This
We
was
have
longer.
some
This was longer than I thought it was gonna be.
longer than expected.
That's okay.
Right. Next week we've got another pair of champions released on the same date, with Anivia and Ramus. Again, champions that have not been reworked, so that's a short one. If we feel like it, we can get spicy and throw Vagar in there too. But it may just be short. We're gonna leave that up to our own discretion.
Any suggestions on a poll or Q&A?
Q&A is what's your favorite skin of the three champions? Pick your favorite one of all three of them. Not one for each. Your favorite skin of all three champions.
Got it. All right.
That's what I want to know. And as far as a poll goes,
You just want to. I mean, we didn't mention LCS is starting back this weekend.
oh no, we didn't.
You guys gonna
is
watch
starting back this
LCS?
weekend. Sure, that's a good
Fuck
poll.
it. Easy enough.
Are you checked in? Does LEC start this weekend too?
Maybe. Let's see.
I know LPL and LCK
Yep,
are already going.
It starts tomorrow, or excuse me, it starts today. Yep.
Oh, sweet. So yeah, if you guys plan on watching, I would say are you gonna watch Pro at all? Not necessarily just LCS, but Pro in general.
Cool.
Answer that poll. But other than that, guys, I got nothing else for you today.
Nope. I know it's
Have a good Friday.
yeah.
Have a
Happy
good
Father's
frickin'
Day
weekend.
too. It's gonna be Father's Day this weekend.
Yes, to all you fathers out there, AZAP is the newest one that I know that listens. Shout out. Christian, if you're listening, you're probably not, but if you're listening, shout out, dude. Everybody else, if I didn't mention you, I apologize. I just don't know.
So yeah, guys, enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back on Monday.
Yep, see you guys in the Rift.
Peace.